Bribery, greasing the palm, or corruption. A report says 55% of South African companies surveyed avoid certain countries because of the high risk of corruption. This is according to the annual survey called International Attitudes to Corruption, published by Control Risks, a global business risk consultancy. This is something we're going to be talking about in a short while when we are joined by Victor Ramaswana. He is the author of the book Africa is Open for Business. So stay tuned for that. That'll be happening shortly here on the program. But right now, let's turn our attention to something different. South African Army Combat Training Centre in Kimberly in the Northern Cape is hosting more than 5,000 troops in a multi-country force field training exercise. The troops will descend to the country this month from a number of other African countries. The exercise, entitled Amani Africa II, will be conducted by the AU to evaluate the state of readiness of African standby forces. Well, to talk to us about this, we are joined in our studios in Pretoria by Major General Barney Hlatshwayo, who is, as I say, from the National Defence Force. It's a very good morning to you, and thank you so much, Major General, for joining us here on the programme.
Good morning, Leanne. Good morning to the viewers.
Now, what is the Amani Africa exercise all about?
Amani Africa exercise is an exercise that has been established by the African Union. It is part of the Roadmap 3 that is attempting to look at the state of readiness of the African Standby Force. You will also remember that the African Standby Force was supposed to be ready for deployment in 2015. Now, during Amani Africa I, some gaps were identified and some deficiencies. So, as part of Roadmap 3, then it was decided that Amani Africa II should be conducted, and SADC as a region was then asked to host the staging of this exercise. And then South Africa, after Lesotho could not carry on as a host, South Africa was then requested by SADC to host this big and very important exercise.
So talk us through some of the countries that are actually going to be participating in the exercise.
Yes, it is quite a big effort. We are going to have countries representing the various regions. I'm talking now the 5 regions that constitute the African Standby Force. We're talking of the North African region. We're talking of ECAS, that is the Economic Community of Central African States. We're talking ECOWAS, that is in West Africa, the East African Standby Force, as well as SADC. Now, coupled to that, we are going to have some elements of what we call the ASRIC, which is the African Immediate Response Capability to a crisis. Now, this is just to be part and parcel of the testing of this capability, because by December, we should be reporting of the status of readiness of the African Standby Force.
Now, obviously, there are so many troops that are set to arrive here. If we talk about cost implications, what are we looking at for something like this?
Yes, I cannot give you the complete picture of the cost, because the cost will be divided into 3. You have costs that South Africa will have to bear as a host nation, but you have costs that also will cover what we call the strategic, then the operational as well as mission and sector level, which will be covered by the African Union. And at the tactical level, we have a situation where each SADC country had to contribute proportionally financially as to the force that they will deploy. Now, we have contributed our own dues in that respect. So during the conduct, South Africa will not be paying for its SADC participation. Neither will we pay for troops that will be put in the AU posts that will be exercised at a strategic as well as operational level. The costs then that we are going to pay are only for hosting.
Okay. All right. Now, let's go back to the beginning of this training cycle. It actually started in 2012. Has it been worth it? Has it been bearing fruits?
Well, if I can speak now for South Africa, we are part and parcel of this effort. Previously, we had an exercise codenamed Golfinho, which was conducted by SADC. I think it was worth the effort because we were able to test and evaluate ourselves, the readiness, the processes, the procedures. And I take it that also during Amani Exercise 1, which was conducted in West Africa, a similar process and a similar experience was achieved, because this is where the gaps of the status of readiness were identified. Now, as I said, part of Roadmap 3 is then to finally test, evaluate the rapid deployment capability and declare the full operational capability of the African Standby Force. So I think it is a very important step. And as you know that in Africa today, there is a dire need that Africa itself, through the AU, should be seen to be in a position to sort out the problems that besets Africa.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, and taking our mind back to where it all began, I think the original exercise took place in Lesotho. Was South Africa involved in that one?
No, Lesotho was supposed to host the very exercise that we are talking about, Amani Africa II.
Yeah.
But due to the problems, the political problems that beset Lesotho, Lesotho was no longer in a position to carry on hosting the exercise. So through SADC and through the AU and in the recent meeting of the heads of state and government that took place in South Africa was then asked to host the exercise. Hence, honestly, I can say we started getting involved and preparing to host this exercise as from January 2015.
Okay, so it never ever got to Lesotho. It never actually ever happened there.
No,
okay.
Ma'am.
Okay, all right. Let's talk about the length and the duration of this. How long will it be going on for, and where will all of the troops be based?
All the troops, all participants will be based at Luhatla, at the South African Army Combat Training Center. And as you correctly indicated at the beginning of your interview, that we're looking at plus minus 5,000 troops that are, all of them are going to be based in the Combat Training Center.
Excellent. Well, let's and the duration of it?
The duration, ma'am, as last week we did issue a press statement. We said all troops will be arriving as from Monday, which is the 12th, to the 17th, which means we give this whole week to receive all troops through the various points of entry. And then from the 19th, we are going to have the official opening of the exercise. And then we will then take the phase 6, which is the intervention phase, which will run from the 19th until the 26th. Then, and again, that will be the transition between the stage that I referred to as phase 6, that is scenario 6. That will be transiting to scenario 5, which is now a normal peacekeeping training, which will carry on until the 5th. And on the 5th, it will be the closing day, which will run alongside the TV Day, the Distinguished Visitors Day.
All right. Thank you, Major General. Thank you very, very much for talking to us here on Morning Live. Barney Hlatshwayo talking to us about the SA Army Combat Training Center in Kimberly in the Northern Cape, hosting 5,000 troops in a multi-country force field training exercise that's happening until the 17th. All right. Let us now get you